what was mine in the beginning is mine now and ever shall be mine. No, there is nothing to defeat God, therefore there is nothing to defeat me. I wait patiently on the Lord, I trust in him. I fret not myself because of evildoers, for every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. And he now gives to me the desires of my good, and he now gives to me the desires of my heart. 37th Psalm. I have now the fearless faith of the Christ within. At my approach, barriers vanish and obstacles disappear. I am steadfast, immovable, for the fields there already white with the harvest. My fearless faith in God now brings the divine design of my life to pass. All fear is now banished, for I know there is no power to hurt. God is the one and only power. I am in perfect harmony with the working of the law, for I know that infinite intelligence knows nothing of obstacles, time, or space. It knows only completion. God works in unexpected and magic ways his wonders to perform. I now prepare for the fulfillment of my heart's desire. I show God I believe his promise will be kept. I now dig my ditches deep with faith and understanding, and my heart's desire comes to pass in a surprising way. My ditches will be filled at the right time, bring all that I have asked for, and more. I now put to flight the army of the aliens' negative thoughts. They feed on fear and starve on faith. God's ideas cannot be moved. Therefore, what is mine by divine right will always be with me. I give thanks that I now receive the righteous desires of my heart. Mountains say removed, valleys exalted, and every crooked place made straight. I am in the kingdom of fulfillment. I have perfect confidence in God, and God has perfect confidence in me. God's promises are built upon a rock. As I have asked, I must receive. Let me never wander from my heart's desire. I do not limit the Holy One of Israel in word, thought, or deed. With God, all things are easy and possible now. I now stand aside and watch God work. It interests me to see how quickly and easily he brings the desires of my heart to pass. Before I called, I was answered, and I now gather in my harvest in a remarkable way. He who watches over my heart's desire neither slumbers nor sleeps. Seeming impossible doors now open, seeming impossible channels are free. My good is a perfect and permanent idea in divine mind, and must manifest, for there is nothing to prevent. I cast every burden on the Christ within, and I go free. Chapter 10. Loss. If man loses anything, it shows there is a belief of loss in his subconscious mind. As she erases this false belief, the article or its equivalent will appear on the external. For example, a woman lost a silver pencil in a theatre. She made every effort to find it, but it was not returned. She denied loss, taking the affirmation, I deny loss. There is no loss in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot lose that pencil. I will receive it or its equivalent. Several weeks elapsed. One day she was with a friend who wore about her neck on a cord a beautiful gold pencil, who turned to her and said, Do you want this pencil? I paid $50 for it at Tiffany's. The woman was aghast and replied, almost forgetting to thank her friend, Oh, God, aren't you wonderful? The silver pencil wasn't good enough for me. Man can only lose what doesn't belong to him by divine right, or isn't good enough for him. Affirmations. There is no loss in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot lose anything that is rightfully mine. Infinite intelligence is never too late. Infinite intelligence knows the way of recovery. No loss in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot lose anything that is rightfully mine. It will be restored, or I will receive its equivalent. Chapter 11. Debt. If a man is in debt or people owe him money, it shows that a belief of debt is in his subconscious mind. This belief must be neutralized in order to change conditions. For example, a woman came to me saying a man had owed her $1,000 for years, which she could not compel him to pay. I said, You must work on yourself, not the man, and gave her this statement. I deny debt. There is no debt in divine mind. No man owes me anything. All is squared. I send man that man love and forgiveness. In a few weeks she received a letter from him saying he intended to send the money, and in about a month came the $1,000. If a student owes money, change the statement. There is no debt in divine mind. Therefore, I owe no man anything. All of my obligations are now wiped out under grace in a perfect way. Affirmations. I deny debt. There is no debt in divine mind. Therefore, I owe no man anything. All obligations are now wiped out under grace in a miraculous way. I deny debt. There is no debt in divine mind. No man owes me anything. All is squared. I send forth love and forgiveness. Chapter 12. Sales. A woman who lived in a country town wished to sell her house and furniture. It was in the winter with snow so deep it was almost impossible for cars or wagons to reach her door, as she had asked God to sell her furniture to the right person, for the right person, for the right person, for the right price. She was unmindful of appearances. She polished the furniture, pushed it into the middle of the room, and prepared to sell it. She said, I never looked out of the window at the blizzard. I simply trusted God's promises. In miraculous ways, people drove up and all the furniture was sold, and the house also, without paying any commission to an agent. Faith never looks out of the window at the blizzard. It simply prepares for the blessing asked for. Affirmation. I give thanks that this article or property is now sold to the right person or persons for the right price, giving perfect satisfaction. Your success comes from the divine. Expect it and it will show up. Chapter 14. Guidance. Always on man's pathway is his message or his lead. For example, a woman was in an unhappy situation. She thought to herself, will it ever clear up? Her maid was standing near and commenced to tell her of her experiences. The woman was too worried to be interested, but listened patiently. The maid was saying, I worked in a hotel once where there was a very amusing gardener. He always said such funny things. It had been raining for 3 days and I said to him, do you think it will ever clear up? And he replied, my God, doesn't it always clear up? The woman was amazed. It was the answer to her thoughts. She said reverently, yes, with my God, it always clears up. Soon after, her problem did clear up in an unexpected way. Affirmations. Infinite Spirit, give me wisdom to make the most of my opportunities. Never let me miss a trick. I am always under direct inspiration. I know just what to do and give instant obedience to my intuitive leads. My angel of destiny goes before me, keeping me in the way. All power is given unto me to be meek and lowly of heart. I am willing to come last before I come first. I now place my personal will upon the altar. Your will, not my will. Your way, not my way. Your time, not my time. And in the twinkling of an eye it is done. There are no mysteries in the kingdom. Whatever I should know will now be revealed to me under grace. I am a perfect, non-resistant instrument for God to work through, and his perfect plan for me now comes to pass in a magic way. Chapter 15. Protection. Affirmations. I am surrounded by the white light of the Christ, through which nothing negative can penetrate. I walk in the light of the Christ, and my fear giants dwindle into nothingness. There is nothing to oppose my good. Chapter 16. Memory. Affirmation. There is no loss of memory in divine mind. Therefore, I recollect everything I should remember, and I forget all that is not for my good. Chapter 17. Divine design. There is a divine design for each man. Just as the perfect picture of the oak is in the acorn, the divine pattern of his life is in the superconscious mind of man. In the divine design, there is no limitation, only health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. So on man's pathway, there is always a divine selection. Each day, he must live according to the divine plane or have unhappy reactions. For example, a woman moved into a new apartment which she had almost furnished when the thought came to her, on that side of the room should stand a Chinese cabinet. Not long after, she was walking by an antique shop. She glanced in and there stood a magnificent Chinese cabinet about 8 feet high, elaborately carved. She entered and asked the price. The salesman said it was worth $1,000, but the woman who owned it was willing to take less. The man added, "What will you offer for it?" The woman paused, and the price $200 came into her mind, so she answered $200. The man said he would let her know if the offer was satisfactory. She did not want to cheat anyone or get anything which was not rightfully hers, so going home she said repeatedly, "If I can't lose it, and if it isn't mine, I don't want it." It was a snowy day, and she said she emphasized her words by kicking the snow from right to left, clearing a pathway to her apartment. Several days elapsed when she was notified that the woman was willing to sell the cabinet for $200. There is a supply for every demand, from Chinese cabinets to millions of dollars. Before ye call, I shall answer, but unless it is the divinely selected cabinet or millions, they would never bring happiness. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Affirmations. I let go of everything not divinely designed for me, and the perfect plan of my life now comes to pass. What is mine by divine right can never be taken from me. God's perfect plan for me is built upon a rock. I follow the magic path of intuition and find myself in my promised land under grace. My mind, body, and affairs are now molded according to the divine pattern within. God is the only power, and that power is within me. There is only one plan, God's plan, and that plan now comes to pass. I give thanks that I now bring forth from the universal substance everything that satisfies all the righteous desires of my heart. The divine design of my life now comes to pass. I now fill the place that I can fill and no one else can fill. I now do the things which I can do and no one else can do. I am fully equipped for the divine plan of my life. I am more than equal to the situation. All doors now open for happy surprises, and the divine plan of my life is speeded up under grace. Chapter 18. Health. When man is harmonious and happy, he is healthy. All sickness comes from violation of spiritual law. Jesus said, "Be thou healed, your sins are forgiven." Resentment, ill will, hate, fear, etc. tear down the cells of the body and poison the blood. Accidents, old age, and death itself come from holding wrong mental pictures. When man sees himself as God sees him, he will become a radiant being, timeless, birthless, and deathless, for God made man in his likeness and his image. Affirmations. I deny fatigue, for there is nothing to tire me. I live in the kingdom of eternal joy and absorbing interests. My body is the body electric, timeless and tireless, birthless and deathless. Time and space are obliterated. I am wonderful now, birthless and deathless. I am one with the one thou in me art. Eternal joy, eternal youth, eternal wealth, eternal health, eternal love, eternal love. I am a spiritual being. My body is perfect, made in his likeness and image. The light now streams through every cell. I give thanks for my radiant health, eyes, imperfect vision, correspondences, fear, suspicion seeing obstacles, watching for unhappy events to come to pass, living in the past or future, not living in the now. Affirmations. The light of the Christ now floods my eyeballs. I have the crystal clear vision of the Spirit. I see clearly and distinctly there are no obstacles on my pathway. I see clearly the fulfillment of my heart's desire. I have the X-ray eye of the Spirit. I see through apparent obstacles. I see clearly the miracle come to pass. I have the crystal clear vision of the Spirit. I see clearly the open road. There are no obstacles on my pathway. I now see miracles and wonders come to pass. I give thanks for my perfect sight. I see God in every face. I see God in every situation. I have the crystal clear vision of the Spirit. I look up and down and all around, for my good comes from north, south, east, and west. My eyes are God's eyes, perfect and flawless. The light of the Christ floods my eyeballs and streams on my pathway. I see clearly there are no lions on my way, only angels and endless blessings. Affirmation. My heart is a perfect idea in divine mind, and is now in its right place, doing its right work. It is a happy heart, a fearless heart, and a loving heart. The light of the Christ streams through every cell, and I give thanks for my radiant health. The thing you dislike or hate will surely come upon you, for when man hates, he makes a vivid picture in the subconscious mind and it objectifies. The only way to erase these pictures is through non-resistance. For example, a woman was interested in a man who told her repeatedly of his charming women cousins. She was jealous and resentful, and he passed out of her life. Later on, she met another man to whom she was much attracted. In the course of their conversation, he mentioned some women cousins he was very fond of. She resented it, then laughed, for here were her old friends, the cousins, back again. This time she tried non-resistance. She blessed all the cousins in the universe and sent them goodwill, for she knew if she didn't, every man she met would be stocked up with women relations. It was successful, for she never heard cousins mentioned again. This is the reason so many people have unhappy experiences repeated in their lives. I knew a woman who bragged of her troubles. She would go about saying to people, "I know what trouble is," and then wait for their words of sympathy. Of course, the more she mentioned her troubles, the more she had, for by her words she was condemned. She should have used her words to neutralize her troubles instead of to multiply them. For example, had she said repeatedly, "I cast every burden upon the Christ within, and I go free," and not voiced her sorrows, they would have faded from her life, for by your words you are justified. I will give to thee the land that thou seest. Man is ever reaping on the external what he has sown in his thought world. For example, a woman needed money and was walking along the street making the affirmation that God was her immediate supply. She looked down, and at her feet was a $2 bill, which she picked up. A man standing near, a watchman in a building, said to her, "Lady, did you pick up some money?" I thought it was a piece of chewing gum paper. A lot of people walked over it, but when you came it opened up like a leaf. Others, thinking lack, had passed over it, but at her words of faith it unfurled. So, with the opportunities in life, one man sees, another passes by. Faith without works or action is dead. The student, in order to bring into manifestation the answer to his prayer, must show active faith. For example, a woman came to me asking me to speak the word for the renting of a room. I gave her the statement, "I give perfect thanks that the room is now rented to the right and perfect man, for the right and perfect man for the right price, giving perfect satisfaction." Several weeks elapsed, but the room had not been rented. I asked, "Have you shown active faith? Have you followed every hunch in regard to the room?" She replied, "I had a hunch to get a lamp for the room, but I decided I couldn't afford it." I said, "You'll never rent the room until you get the lamp, for in buying the lamp, you are acting your faith, impressing the subconscious mind with certainty." I asked, "What is the price of the lamp?" She answered, $4. I exclaimed, $4 standing between you and the perfect man. She became so enthusiastic. She bought 2 lamps. About a week elapsed, and in walked the perfect man. He did not smoke and paid the rent in advance and fulfilled her ideal in every way. Unless you become as a little child and dig your ditches, you shall in no wise enter the kingdom of manifestation. Without the vision, my people perish. Unless man has some objective, some promised land to look forward to, he begins to perish. We see it so often in small country towns, in the men who sit around a stove all winter, who ain't got no ambition. Within each one is an undiscovered country, a gold mine. I knew a man in a country town called Magnolia Charlie, because he always found the first magnolia in the spring. He was a shoemaker, but every afternoon left his work to go to the station to meet the 4:15 train from a distant city. They were the only romances in his life, the first magnolia and the 4:15 train. He felt vaguely the call of the vision in the superconscious mind. No doubt, the divine design for him included travel, and perhaps he was to become a genius in the plant world. Through the spoken word, the divine design may be released and each one fulfill his destiny. Affirmation. I now see clearly the perfect plan of my life. Divine enthusiasm fires me and I now fulfill my destiny. The spiritual attitude towards money is to know that God is man's supply and that he draws it from the abundance of the spheres. Through his faith and spoken word, when May realizes this, he loses all greed for money and is fearless in letting it go out. With his magic purse of the spirit, his supply is endless and immediate, and he knows also that giving precedes receiving. For example, a woman came to me asking me to speak the word for $500 by the 1st of August. It was then about the 1st of July. I knew her very well and said, "The trouble with you is you don't give enough. You must open your channels of supply by giving." She had accepted an invitation to visit a friend and did not want to go on account of the formality. She said, "Please treat me to be polite for 3 weeks, and I want to get away as soon as possible and be sure to speak the word for the $500. She went to the friend's house, was unhappy and restless and tried continually to leave, but was always persuaded to stay longer. She remembered my advice, however, and gave the people about her presents. Whenever possible, she made a gift. It was nearing the 1st of August and no signs of the $500 and no way of escape from the visit. The last day of July, she said, "Oh God, maybe I haven't given enough." So she tipped all the servants more than she had intended. The 1st of August, her hostess said to her, "My dear, I want to make you a gift," and she handed her a check for $500. Affirmations. God works in unexpected ways his wonders to perform. God is incapable of separation or division. Therefore, my good is incapable of separation or division. I am one with my undivided good. All that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in a perfect way under grace. God's work is finished now and must manifest. I serve only faith and my unlimited substance is made manifest. I am undisturbed by appearances. I trust in God and he now brings to me the desires of my heart. My good now overtakes me in a surprising way. The divine plan of my life cannot be tampered with. It is incorruptible and indestructible. It awaits only my recognition. There is no there. There is only here. Reveal to me the way. Let me see clearly the blessing which thou hast given me. Let thy blessed will be done in me this day. Hunches are my hounds of heaven. They lead me in the perfect way. All things I seek are now seeking me. Divine activity is now operating in my mind, body and affairs, whether I see it or not. Since I am one with the only presence, I am one with my heart's desire. I now have the single eye of the spirit and see only completion. I am a perfect idea in divine mind, and I am always in my right place, doing my right place, doing my right work at the right time for the right pay. The Columbus in you will see you through. I am an irresistible magnet for checks, bills, and currency, for everything that belongs to me by divine right. Thou in me art completion. As I have asked, I must receive. The law of God is the law of increase, and I give thanks for increase under grace in perfect ways. I dwell in a sea of abundance. I see clearly my inexhaustible supply. I see clearly what to do. My world of the wondrous now swings into manifestation, and I enter my promised land under grace. Great peace have I who love thy law of non-resistance, and nothing shall offend me. Thou in me art inspiration, revelation, and illumination. Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. Nothing is too good to last. Choose the affirmation which appeals to you the most and wave it over the situation which confronts you. It is your magic wand, for your word is God in action. It shall not return void, but shall accomplish that whereunto it is sent.